breaking Eye of the Tiger. This is Brian and Dave with another brew review from Podcast Turbia. Hi, Dave.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm okay. I'm totally confused. Never mind. Don't mind me.
We, like all podcasts, don't actually even converse before we hit record. That's why we have to catch up on the times. Like, how are you today? Like,
You know
really,
what I was
tell me
doing?
about how you're doing.
You know what I was doing?
What's that?
The music, because that's a brand new intro song. We've had a few episodes now, and it's awesome. I freaking love it. But I was like trying to find the Zippo app on my phone, which I actually have, because I was just gonna hold that up because I haven't smoked in like 15 years or 14 years, so I don't keep lighters around me very often. Um, but yeah, that's what I was trying to do, and I was all enthralled.
There's nothing wrong with that. It's another brew review, and we're here to talk about the beers that we like or the beers that we have never tried, and we're going to try them for you right here for the first time. So this week I'll get started. It's a brewery I've had several times, and don't believe I've had it on this show. I'm not actually sure I've had it,
Well,
but
if you
it
had it or
is
not, you just said you'd had it several times.
the brewery,
The brewery.
Southern Tier.
Okay,
Southern
yeah,
Tier
yeah.
is one of my favorite breweries
Yeah, yeah.
that I hit up a lot because they come out with pretty much all they do are IPAs. They do a few other odds and ends here and there, but mostly pale ales or IPAs. And this one is called Live. It is their citrusy session pale ale. Sessions are good because they're usually a little lower in alcohol, but not lacking in bitterness and
Potency, not
potency.
richness, better
Right.
than potency. Yeah,
And alcohol 5.5. There is no
that's actually
IBU.
healthy. That's decent.
There's no IBU listed on here that I can see from Lakewood, New York. So this is the Live citrusy session.
How do you do that? I swear, every time you get the perfect
It
bottle.
is this bottle opener, the greatest bottle opener ever created by man.
It is kind of sexy.
We won't tell you who made that. So, all
You
right,
hit record,
this
right?
is gonna
Okay,
be
yeah, hit record.
very
That's right.
light in
Oh wow,
color.
that is.
It's gonna look lagery or
Yeah,
what?
that's just a tad more dark than a lager or something. Ah, Sam Adams. You got to turn that so you can't see that Sam
Oh
Adams
God,
logo.
what is it? What am I doing? I gotta like scrape that off or something.
No.
So, it's a slightly cloudy, but
Yeah, it's all right.
it's
You got.
great.
I'm
Um,
like trying to look under here. You got, 2 fingers ahead on there. You're good.
yeah, about 2 fingers there. Let's see. I have fat fingers, so
Yeah, finger and a half. You're good.
and it smells citrusy. I mean, it smells like I'm chewing into a tangerine. So here we go.
That looks good.
Oh,
Looks
it's
good.
so good. Like this is one of those beers that you would. It only needs 2 sips and you're done. So
Well,
it's
that's
very
it.
light, very
Two really
refreshing.
long slips or 2 sips and I can't take this anymore type.
No, too like okay, I'm just going to drink this down because it goes down so smooth. The bitterness is there, but it's not overpowering. It's more of got that sucking on a grapefruit rind
That's good. It's all right.
bitterness,
We
which
like
is
that.
good that I like out of an IPA. And for a session, like I said, sessions are great because they usually are very refreshing. They're good summertime IPAs because IPAs can be a little on the heavier side, not something you can drink multiple of in hot weather.
You got
So
to be sitting down sometimes
yeah,
for an IPA
so the
occasionally.
session has come out and become more popular in the last couple of years because of that, because you can have more of them because they are lighter drinking beers, but still give you the
You can do
hoppiness.
activities while doing it. Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly. You
Yeah.
you can grill, you can mow the yard, you can
No,
discipline your kids, you
don't
can do it all. So
don't do either of those latter two while drinking, please. Uh, um,
it was a joke. It was a bad joke. I apologize. I love my kids.
me
So,
too. I love them good.
this is
Um,
this. So all right. So that's the Southern Tier live, um, like
live,
like the
is
band.
it live or is it live?
There's a line over it, so it would be live, unless that's the dot.
I think that's just the
You
dot.
dot your eyes and
Yeah, I don't know.
cross your eyes.
I don't know. Which one
It
am I
could be
drinking?
live. I don't really care. It's
It's like
good.
the band. Is
So
it
what?
live
You know,
live or live live?
the first time I saw that album in high school,
Throwing
Mental
copper.
Jewelry. I thought the band was Mental Jewelry, and it was them live.
Oh yeah,
So
no, it was confusing. Oh,
they
metal
they
jewelry,
they
sure, yeah.
they weren't known at the time. So okay, what do you have? As I
So
look
I
right,
am frequently known for having bizarre beers.
you are bizarre.
I have how bizarre. Do, 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 do. I did the I've done the banana bread beer. I have
Yes, you
done the
have.
peanut butter stout.
Yes, you have.
I have a few weeks ago I did the tangerine,
Yes, you did.
which was, and all those have been fantastic. And I've done a few other bizarre out there. This may take the cake.
Okay.
This is one the bride got for me. It is the same brewery as the tangerine, so it is a New Belgium,
Okay.
and I have high hopes. I have really, really high hopes, but at the same time, I can see how this can go south really fast. This is the New Belgium called Heavy Melon Watermelon Lime.
Oh, watermelon. Watermelon lime.
Watermelon lime, right? I'm not a big fan of watermelon, but I love watermelon flavored things.
Mm-hmm.
So watermelon bubblegum, candies, things like that. I love them. So I have never had this, and
Okay.
I have lost my bottle opener.
Oh,
I
that's a
found it.
foul.
I found it.
If you only had a cool bottle opener
I know.
like
I
that
need
one,
to find a guy that makes those.
need to.
So ready?
That was a good open.
All right. Oh wow.
It's just reeking of watermelon, like watermelon
I'm a
Jolly
little.
Rancher or hint of watermelon.
I'm a hint of watermelon. I'm a little stopped up, and I can tell right now, looking through. I mean, you from your angle, it's black. I have got nice, clear. I think this is going to come out extremely
So it's
clear, almost.
a dark bottle, but it's probably going to come out like
Look
a
at that.
lager,
Oh, it is. Oh yeah, that is lager.
very light. Did it say you said ale?
Watermelon lime ale,
Okay.
Fort Collins, Colorado. Let's see if I can find any deals on this. Deals.
Any details? Anything? Any
Details.
read up on it?
The new headliner is coming to town, and it goes by the name Heavy Melon. With a splash of fresh watermelon and a touch of lime, this beer will have you screaming for an encore. 5%. Enjoy by F that. That's all it says. So, Slante?
Hey, you need like a watermelon dipping in it or something like
I
that.
know needs a garnish.
Yeah, like a watermelon garnish, like a wedge.
Yeah.
I was at
So
this fancy restaurant having lunch,
you know I had to.
and the waiter brought me my entree. It was a salad. It was Lloyd's head on a plate of spinach with his penis sticking out of his ear. And I said, I didn't order this. And the waiter said, you must try it. It's a delicacy. But don't eat the penis. It's just garnish.
My garnish reference.
I love the garnish reference. How was it?
I am disappointed.
Really? Is
Um,
it not have? Is it just taste like a straight up beer and doesn't have any flavor?
It's kind of like the watermelon rind was maybe introduced, but not the watermelon itself. I get almost no lime whatsoever.
So the watermelon
Uh,
rind, which is more just that stale melon.
I mean, this is actually pretty. I'm not going to call it foul, but boring.
That's what my problem with a lot of the beers that have fruit in them is they smell great, they taste like nothing.
I'm a little stopped up, so it doesn't even smell that great, but that's fine. You know, you have that every once in a while. No, this is. I'm really disappointed because the New Belgium we've always been pretty happy with.
New
They do the
Belgium's
ones-
one of our
the Fat
probably
Pie
top
Tar,
fives.
Yeah.
Yep.
And this is really kind of boring.
Yeah.
It's way too light. It's not rich. There's nothing to it. I mean, it's fizzy yellow beer.
Yeah, watermelon is a tough flavor because it smells great, but it's one of those flavors that is better as a candy than it is actually like flavorful as a candy than it is actually a fruit. You know, when you eat a watermelon, it actually doesn't have tons and tons of flavor. It's got the texture, but when you have like a watermelon Jolly Rancher or something like that, it's really rich and sweet, and
That's
that's
what I was going into, the watermelon flavored things that I really, really enjoy. But this is, I mean, look,
Yeah, you're almost done with it too. You've killed it. There was a brewery
Not
back
because
in,
it's good. It's because it's like just get it out of the way and get on to the next one.
well, luckily I
It's
have
like
two
water.
for this episode. But there's a brewery in Western Massachusetts called Opa Opa.
Did you
And
just say you have two?
I have a second beer because this
Oh,
I knew
okay.
this one was going to go down easy, as opposed to last week's where we were pretty heavy beers and we kind of
I mean,
had to
I wasn't
pace.
prepared for a second one, but I'll have to go get one.
Well, if you're killing that one, I will tell people about Opa Opa while you knock
Dude.
that back. Opa Opa is a great brewery in Western Mass. Dave's done with his beer, and they did a watermelon beer. And their thing about it is that you need to garnish it with watermelon. You need to put a chunk of watermelon in the glass before you tap it. I worked in restaurants, and they came and did this demonstration. They say it brings out the flavor of the watermelon. My feelings were is that it's because the watermelon doesn't have much flavor, so you're hoping to add more watermelon flavor to the beer in the glass when it's poured. So, and that tends to be the case with a lot of the watermelon beers. I find that they might smell good, but they don't taste like anything. They tend to be lagery, like that. What Dave had there didn't even look like an ale. Kind of had that really filtered fizzy yellow beer look. So that being said, that they are what they are. But when you garnish them well enough, maybe you get a little more flavor out of it. Otherwise, you get what Dave had, and that's just a crappy beer.
So those watching the video will get this. But I stepped away while Brian was doing his monologue there, talking about Opa Opa, and I heard nothing about that. But I had just done the whole "don't eat the penis; it's only garnish," and then I came back to when you garnish them well enough.
That's true.
So there's this double entendre sandwich kind of
Well,
going on right there.
it's a garnish. You see a lot of the your Shock Top, Blue Moon, UFO beers that are you need to have a wedge of lemon, need to have a
Bull.
wedge of orange in there
Don't ruin a good beer like that.
to add it. When a beer requires that though to have flavor, then it's not a good beer on its own.
No.
It in the history is that these watermelon beers tend to require a wedge or a chunk of watermelon put in the glass.
Nope.
And the beer thrown over it. If the beer should stand fine on its own, but the problem is watermelon doesn't have a lot of flavor. It's like a lot of people who think that pumpkin risotto or pumpkin dish of some sort. Oh, it tastes like pumpkin.
Risotto?
There is a pumpkin risotto. You can make a pumpkin risotto. The problem is when you make that stuff, is you usually end up using like butternut squash or something like that because pumpkin on its own has no flavor. It's very flavorless. So
Yeah, it needs
watermelon's
to
very
concentrate. Yeah.
watermelon's very similar in that fact. It's a very subtle flavor on its own anyway, and adding it to a beer which has so many complex flavors going on in its own right, they end up overpowering the watermelon. So you need something else there to add to it. Throwing a hunk of watermelon in that beer might work for you, but you shouldn't have to. And the
No.
lime, I mean, with the lime not even being there, I mean, what's the point in
I
even
got
saying that?
0 out of the lime. It was a little disappointing.
Well, you have your second beer. I'm knocking off this one, so tell us what you got for your second.
So my second one, done the brewery a couple times, called Victory. This is the Victory Summer Love Ale. I hear this and I want to break into a Grease song.
Summer Lovin', yep, you got to
yeah,
do
all in line with the Brew review.
Right.
So no details that I can see. Flavor of the season, et cetera, et cetera. I think I may have had this one before, though not particularly on the show.
Okay.
If I did, I enjoyed it. I remember that much. Yeah, this one already smells better. I'm not rinsing the glass because the other one was like water anyway. So
we party foul on that sometimes here.
it's still coming out. Oh, it's coming out very light again.
About the same as the watermelon.
Yeah.
We're probably going to be more flavorful. Just a regular ale, not a pale ale.
Yeah, just Summer Love Ale, Victory Summer Love Ale. Yeah, it smells much more rich already. Here we go.
There we go. Nice one finger head on it, and he looks far more pleased. Yeah,
it's an ale. Even though the other one was, this is much more of the. Actually, has a lot of the earthy that I really enjoy.
Ales are richer in flavor, a little earthier in flavor than the lagers would be, and if that other one, It's
It was
watermelon.
disappointing.
Yeah,
It really was.
It didn't even look like an. It didn't even the way you described it didn't even sound like a ale because you should have gotten some of that flavor out of it, which you didn't.
No, it was. Maybe if I read a few chapters back on that one, I might find some watermelon reference or something on it.
Yep.
But it was really, like I said, disappointing. Is that, and we like New Belgium.
We
Most
do.
anything we've had, I had the tangerine a few weeks ago, which I actually have another one in there, which was fantastic.
Like
Fat
we'll try to
Tire.
redeem them in the coming weeks. I'll try to get one that we know is a good one or
If you
one
can,
that.
if you can find that tangerine one, seriously, it is very interesting. It is not something you or I normally like, but it is enjoyable.
And Southern Tier, who I had just a few minutes ago, had a Tangier
That's a North African
IPA,
thing, though.
but it wasn't in reference to that. It was in reference to tangerine. So they were using a play on words. And that was probably similar to what you had with that New Belgium. What I have for my second beer, I'm cheating a little bit because I don't have a bottle on this one. However, this is a beer I talked about last week, which is the one that when I talked about grilling with a beer. And that's the Uinta Brewing. So there's their logo
Did we find out where they're from? Are they?
right there. Yeah, it should probably say on here.
Is it Utah?
Yeah, I believe they're Utah. Salt Lake City, Utah.
Okay, so I just happened to have been in Salt Lake City last week and had some fantastic beer while out there, but Uinta was not one of them.
And this is their it's 4%, but it's the Goes. It's the one I talked about last week. It's called Ready Set Goes.
Right.
And it's a ale brewed with salt and organic coriander. You don't taste
This
the
could get
coriander.
real interesting.
I think
Salt and beer is go.
It's a can.
Yeah, it's good. Okay. It's good.
So very light. It's a can. Cans pour differently than bottles.
Yeah.
Gotta negotiate it, otherwise it turns into all head. But like I said, this is actually very salty, similar to that as I talked about last week and several weeks ago to the Dogfish Heads. So you can see it's cloudy, like a
Yeah.
ghost should be. So not like triple filtered or anything like that,
Unfiltered wheat beer.
but very light. And I mean, you can smell the saltiness in it. It has this saline kind of taste to it with beer.
All right.
But refreshing. It's like it's sweet and salty. You get that sweetness of the beer.
Pineapple and olive.
Exactly, just like it. And then the saltiness
Sorry.
hits you.
Sorry.
Just like a not anywhere close.
Sorry,
No,
movie
no.
reference.
But no, this is very good. I talked about it last week, and it's something I would certainly recommend, especially heading into the summer. A good summer beer, if you want to. You could definitely. It's 4% too, so you could grab a couple cans of this and feel comfortable drinking it down. So that's the color. Looks good. There's
Not bad.
Dave's. Mine's much lighter.
Yes, it is.
But good times. So that's going to be it for this week. Sad
That's
to say. We're going to continue to enjoy our beers as we say goodbye. But go ahead and email us at beer@podcastserbia.com. Let us know what you want us to try. We'd love to try it. Even if it's gross, we'll still drink it. Dave just drank a gross watermelon beer.
Yeah, but not like if you tell me it's gross, I'm not drinking it.
Well, yeah,
If it's
that's
hey,
that's
this is
dumb.
great, and I determine it's gross on my end, that's fine. But
That's better.
Here,
That-
drink this.
Yeah.
No,
It's better radio if we think it's going to be good.
Yeah.
And it's bad. So lie to us is what we're asking you to do.
Wow.
You can go ahead and go on Facebook or Twitter
The
at
Twitter.
Podcast Serbia and let us know what you think there. iTunes reviews, all that other stuff. We love it. So for me, Brian, him, Dave, we will see you all next time.
Good night, everybody.